Skip this intro. Without a doubt in my mind, no one can make a movie prettier than Guillermo del Toro. I saw him at San Diego Comic-Con one time speak, and he said his goal in life is to make a movie so beautiful, like a beautiful woman, you'd want to fuck it immediately. And I would say mission accomplished with Frankenstein 2025 on Netflix right now, because he uses red against the snow and green in the sewers. Like it's like eye candy. Even the coffins in this movie look absolutely gorgeous as they're burying somebody. All right, but enough jizzing over the style. How's the movie? We've seen Frankenstein 100 times. There's been so much. And this one takes the unique style of splitting the story right down the middle, where one half is the story told from the monster's point of view, and one half is told from Dr. Frankenstein's point of view. And I thought that was a great idea. It's something new and different. So splitting in the story in two like that, I really liked how you can kind of juxtapose what you're looking at. I liked how Dr. Frankenstein, Victor's side of the story, shows exactly how much of a monster he is, while the Frankenstein half of the movie shows how human the monster can be. Victor's half of the story is all about like conquering death and wanting to become a god and becoming immortal. And meanwhile, Frankenstein's side of the story is all about how he hates being immortal and he just wants to die, but he can't, because this Frankenstein kind of has like regenerative powers like Wolverine does, if you're familiar with that. So as long as Frankenstein realizes he can't die, the only thing he wants is like for Victor to give him a Mrs. Frankenstein. He doesn't want to spend eternity alone. He might as well have like a mate. He might as well have a wife. So along the way, you throw in a bunch of like body ripping action scenes, people hunting the Frankenstein monster. You've got wolf attacks in this movie. So it's not all just like hoity-toity drama and despair of him just like, oh, I just want to die. And, there's a lot of action along the way. There's a lot of good story along the way. And as I anticipated with a Guillermo del Toro movie, you knew he's going to side with the monster. And after you see what happens, how can you possibly not? You'll end up really feeling for the monster. It's kind of hard to feel for Victor. I mean, he's a brilliant guy played by Oscar Isaac. Oh, by the way, this is stacked with a great cast. You got Oscar Isaac, you've got Mia Goth, you've got who was the guy from Django Unchained, the German guy, Christoph Waltz. You got Christoph Waltz in this one. He's got a great part. This is a stacked movie. This is very clearly going to be an Oscar contention come next year, and I really hope it works out well for them because it's a fantastic movie. I just know that the Academy hates monsters and horror, but this one isn't all horror. It's got a great story, it's got action, it's got gore for sure. Guillermo del Toro doesn't shy away from that. I hope it all works out very well. And I hope Guillermo del Toro wins whatever award he's looking for, because I'm just hoping that someday he'll come back and make Hellboy 3. But in the meantime, see Frankenstein on Netflix. So by the time you reach a fourth or fifth sequel in a movie series, you kind of can't complain anymore what you're getting. You wouldn't go to McDonald's and ask for a Big Mac and get that Big Mac and then complain, oh, it's not the best burger I've ever had in the world. No, you expected a certain thing. And that's what you get with Conjuring Last Rites. The Warrens, they're back at it again, and this time for the last time. So yeah, you've got Ed and Lorraine Warren headed out supposedly for their last ride. We'll see. And this time they're tagging along their daughter, who somehow has like the powers, I guess, that Lorraine Warren supposedly had. And they're bringing along a fiance boyfriend too. I can already smell it. They are trying to pass the torch. This is one of those movies. They're going to try and pass the torch to the next generation to see if they can get a couple more movies out of this. I don't know if that works, but the movie, as long as you're willing to accept it's more of the same of what you got, it's not that bad. So what are they fighting this time? Is it another doll? Is it another nun? Nope. This time, it's a horror trope I haven't seen since I saw it in the 80s, and then there was one movie in the 2000s This time they're fighting an evil mirror. Oh, and a family of ghosts who were axe murdered. They throw that in too. Like I said, this is kind of like a bread and butter movie. You know what you should be expecting at this point. I thought the people who made this movie did an exceptional job at anthropomorphizing a mirror to actually like have to, it's not just a psychological battle, it is a physical battle. And I thought they did an outstanding job of getting this thing to like whip around and move as if it's like a person and like they have to like physically throw it off themselves. They did a really that's got to be a hard thing to do. How do you make somebody fight a mirror and not just like break the glass with a punch? They did a really good job with that here. And they throw in a lot of, other kind of classic scares too. You've got like this one scene where it's kind of like The Shining. Remember where the like elevator opens and the blood comes out? They've got something kind of like that. They've got Annabelle does come back for a quick scene and she like kind of grows 12 feet tall and is like stomping around the halls. So there's some good scares in this movie, even though it's not original by this point. It still is entertaining. But getting back to that family that was like the ghosts who were axe murdered or whatever, that was the part I did not like. The way they made their faces look like a mask you would find at Spirit of Halloween. Like, I didn't find them scary as much as like I was looking at it and was just like, oh man, you could have done better than that if you wanted to scare me. In the end, it's a decent last ride, I guess. At this point in the movie series, if you've seen all the rest, I could say, yes, see the last one. If you've never seen a Conjuring or a Warrens movie before, then this probably isn't going to interest you and you could skip it. All right, from the depths of my forgotten movie closet comes Sensitive New Age Killer. It's an Australian movie. It's very low budget. It's obviously inspired by like John Woo. Maybe that's where they got the title from. And maybe even a little bit the Boondock Saints. It was made in the late 90s, so maybe those people saw each other's movies. Maybe. It was Australia. I don't know what was going on in the 90s in Australia. So what makes him a sensitive New Age killer? It's that he's a hitman who only kills people who he feels deserves it. The most noticeable thing I noticed right away about this movie is they must have gotten a absolutely huge discount at the Squib Factory. Those little things they used to put on Hitman to make the bullet like explode, or they'd put it on like a thing in the foreground so that, it looks like somebody's shooting at you. They must have either spent all their money on those or they must have gotten a huge discount, because every action scene in this is so wild and over the top with bullet hits that there's no way they didn't spend a majority of the budget just on those. Everybody in this movie has like 2 guns and they're all revolvers and nobody seems to reload at any point. But they're hitting everything but the people they're aiming for. I don't know if that was intentional, but they are absolutely shredding whatever background they are in. So besides all the all the terrible aim, what's this movie about? Okay. The sensitive New Age killer is Paul. Movie starts off when he's a kid. He's playing with this girl in what looks like, an abandoned part of Naugatuck, Connecticut. And he's apparently being babysat somehow by a local hooker. She just kind of keeps an eye on him while they're running around playing. In walks this hitman known as the Snake, which I guess is supposed to make him seem sinister, even though he looks like a history teacher. So the kid witnesses the Snake do a hit and kill this guy, and apparently he also had a camera with him, so he took a couple pictures, and he becomes obsessed, and this is like what he decides what he wants to be when he grows up, and that's how he becomes the sensitive New Age killer. But of course it turns out he's really not good at his job. He has a wife, he has a kid, he's got to support him, he's got to take all these jobs, and it really sucks for him because he's so bad at his job. It seems like he can't really kill anybody, except one time he kills a corrupt cop in his apartment. Not his apartment, the cop's apartment. But oops, his partner, who's a woman, who's a female cop, was there, walking in the door 2 minutes later. So he gets caught, and you think he's going to get arrested. Nope, this is a low-budget movie. That female cop is going to use him as her own personal prostitute. Every Friday, he has to come and dick down this woman. And this is like the life that is set up for him. It's very weird. Parts of this must have been intended to be some kind of dark comedy because there she is riding on top of this guy with a pistol so that he won't escape. Every Friday, she's riding this guy and not turning him in for murder, as cops do, right? Apparently in Australia, maybe that's what they do. And even along the way, the hitman's like close friend slash partner who helps him get his guns is also secretly blackmail banging his wife along the way. Everything is very confusing in the 90s Australia. All I gotta say is that if you don't take it too seriously, and maybe the makers of the movie didn't take it that seriously, you'll get a kick out of it because the action scenes are so crazy for such a low budget movie. That alone makes it worth watching. And along the way, yeah, the story gets a little bit boring, but they pepper in the action scenes enough where they knew they needed to just goose it a little. So it's labeled as an action comedy. Okay, I don't know if I'd call it a comedy. So apparently it is streaming on Tubi, like a criminally underrated service. I got to get on Tubi and start watching more movies like this. And if you've never heard of this before and you're curious and like, at least Tubi, you won't have to pay anything to see it. You can just see it for free. And if you hate it, you can turn it off in 5 minutes. But get to those action scenes. I think you'll get a laugh. Hey, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching Quiet Corner TV, Red Hood Movie Reviews. You keep coming back, I'll keep watching, and I'll keep talking. Talk to you later.